Good evening and welcome to Ignite News Highlights. It's Friday, September 5th, 2025. I'm Rihanna Nikram. Thanks for joining us. Here are the highlights. With the recount of ballots for Districts 4 and parts of District 5 still underway, PPC General Secretary Dr. Bharat Jagdeo says the outcome of the elections will not change. Counting agents report no major differences so far, and the process has been running smoothly. The Ghana Elections Commission began the recount on Thursday morning, following a request from the opposition, a Partnership for National Unity. That request was later extended to cover some areas in District 5. By midday today, 350 ballot boxes had been recounted, with 118 still outstanding. Although GCOM has already declared results for all 10 regions, it has not yet formally announced the winner. Statements of poll show the incumbent PPC in the lead with a strong majority. At his weekly press briefing on Thursday, Dr. Jagdeo dismissed recount effort as a delay tactic.
He said we're going to challenge these results, so they've requested a recount in Region 4, parts of Region 4, that's ongoing now, and parts of Region 5. They've requested recounts. But that, as we've seen already, that the numbers are not changing in the recount. Because the process was so diligent, or that you're not going to have major changes. Maybe a couple of votes here or there. One was rejected. One was close to the cup and didn't get counted, but should be counted because the voter's intention is clear. That would change. But you're not going to see maybe a swing of more than maybe a few votes in the recount. That's not going to change the results. But it's the delay, the inevitable. And for him to come to the realization that the APNU had a failed political strategy.
Once a final declaration is made, the president will be sworn in. Jagdeo added that if the opposition remains dissatisfied, it can take the matter to court, though he doubts that will happen. Meanwhile, the Private Sector Commission hailed the 2025 general and regional elections as among the most efficient, peaceful, and transparent in decades, saying this reflects Ghana's growing political maturity.
We commend the Ghana Elections Commission, GCOM, for the efficiency, accuracy, and transparency in which the process was managed and executed. The timely posting of results and information online for the public to view has been instrumental in setting a very strong standard for transparency and accountability.
International observers echoed that view. The European Union mission called the polls peaceful and well-run, while noting concerns about campaign financing and incumbency advantages. The Commonwealth reported that polling day was calm and orderly, and CARICOM praised GCOM's real-time posting of statements of poll, a measure introduced after disputed 2020 elections. Following Monday's defeat at the polls, many are questioning the future.
I really believe when we look at the bauxite finds between Suriname and Guyana, as the president outlined, we are going to move to an alumina plant at some point in the near future. And that brings higher value jobs to our people. And that's where engineering and technical expertise come in. And we want our people to get higher paying jobs. And that's why the Port Moran Training Center is there.
The People's National Congress reform, the largest faction of the APNU coalition. For at least one politician, the party can stage a comeback. Speaking on Ignite's elections update, former President Donald Ramotar said the PNC failed to recognize growing dissatisfaction among its base, leading some supporters to walk away. He argued the party has faced major leadership issues since 1992, while relying too heavily on race rhetoric against the PPP, an argument that he says no longer resonates.
They have had a lot of crisis in the leadership. Hamilton Green breaking away, and then you had all kinds of difficulties. This last time with elections, there was a claim within the PNC ranks that the election was rigged against Greenwich for Granger. The second thing I believe that is causing them to have this great setback that they have had is the question that the propaganda, it does not correspond to reality, and therefore they're becoming discredited. They tend to attack the government about racism and discrimination, and it doesn't exist. The government has absolutely no policy. There's no one policy that you can point to that this government is discriminating against anyone. And people are beginning to see that. So what used to be working for them with some of the older generation as people pass on and so forth, they are just being discredited in the eyes of the people.
Ramotar said results prove that race-based politics is losing its impact, particularly among younger supporters. Turning to the Win party, he noted that its votes came mainly as a rejection of the PNC, not as loyal support. He added Win posed no real challenge to the PPP.
I would like to see them contesting these elections on the basis of ideas and programs, and on the manifestos and on arguments, rational arguments and so forth. I think this election should tell them that this is the direction they should go. And their over-reliance on race as a factor to keep their popular base, it shows that those days are coming to an end. I think they have to go back to the drawing board and really honestly examine their position and to recognize that racism is losing its potency.
Ramotar concluded that the PNC can still recover, but only if it develops clear plans and programs that speak directly to the needs of the people. The official results of the 2025 general and regional elections have not yet been declared, but with the incumbent almost certain to return to government, officials are already looking ahead. Chief Investment Officer and head of the Ghana Office for Investment, Dr. Peter Ramsarup, says Ghana's economy is firmly on the right track for 2025 and beyond. In an interview with Ignite News on Thursday, Dr. Ramsarup credited the private sector and the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry for supporting small and medium-sized businesses. He noted that President Dr. Irfan Ali's development programs are already delivering results and will expand even further on their 5-year and beyond plan. According to Dr. Ramsarup, the country's push for cheaper energy will create new opportunities. He also stressed the need for solid legal frameworks so businesses in joint ventures and consortiums can secure maximum benefits.
I would say 99% of foreign investors, when they come in, want to find a local investor to partner with. But the local investor needs to know they need to have their books in order, they need to have their structure in order, they need to have their business plan ready, they got to show where their contributions are, and they can ride the wave with these companies. And a lot of them have done joint ventures. The local content law and the oil and gas industry has driven that model to work fairly well. And so if you use that local content law model to spread it across the other sectors, companies can rest assured that they will do very well.
He added the opening of new lands supported by the Road to LATAM will boost agriculture and manufacturing prospects.
I really believe when we look at the bauxite finds between Suriname and Guyana, as the president outlined, we are going to move to an alumina plant at some point in the near future. And that brings higher value jobs to our people. And that's where engineering and technical expertise come in. And we want our people to get higher paying jobs. And that's why the Port Moran Training Center is there.
Finally, Dr. Ramsarup urged young people to take advantage of training and opportunities in non-traditional sectors so they are not left behind. According to President Irfan Ali's National Security Advisor, Gerald Gouveia Sr., the U.S. military presence in the Southern Caribbean does not threaten stability. During an appearance on Ignite's Elections Update, Gouveia maintained that CARICOM must speak with one voice on regional security. The U.S. deployed several naval ships in the Southern Caribbean weeks ago to disrupt drug trafficking, and earlier this week, it released video of a bomb strike that killed 11 people on a vessel allegedly moving narcotics from Venezuela's Trinidad cartel. Back in August, Guyana warned that organized crime and narco-terrorism, often linked to Venezuela's Cartel de los Soles, pose major threats to peace and democracy. It pledged to work with regional and global partners to dismantle those networks and keep the Caribbean a zone of peace. According to Gouveia, Caribbean nations must take the drug trade seriously. He welcomed Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister Kamal Prasad Becerra's support for the U.S. initiative and are pledged to allow American access to Trinidadian space if Venezuela targets Guyana.
Unfortunately, we saw some other Caribbean nations, I think 5 or 6 of them, who were making alternate statements to her, condemning, and nobody spoke about the fact that they were speaking without the Brotherhood of CARICOM and Sisterhood of CARICOM. But the minute the Trinidadian Prime Minister spoke in support of Guyana, they started to say she's breaking ranks with CARICOM.
He also urged CARICOM leaders to reassess their positions on the U.S. presence, given both the narcotics threat and Venezuela's actions toward Guyana.
President Ali is really a leader of CARICOM, and he's part of CARICOM very genuinely. So when CARICOM leaders sit in Venezuela with Maduro, and while he is scheming to take our land we really do have a challenge, and it's something we have to deal with.
Meanwhile, Trinidad and Tobago's Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister Sean Sobers told The Guardian that the community of Latin American and Caribbean states held an emergency meeting on Monday about the U.S. deployment. During the meeting, Colombia pushed for a communique condemning the move, but Trinidad and several Latin American countries, including Argentina, Ecuador, Paraguay, Peru, Panama, Costa Rica, and the Dominican Republic, objected, saying there's no evidence U.S. presence will destabilize the region. Schools across Guyana will reopen on Monday, marking the official start of the 2025 to 2026 academic year. The new term begins later than usual since many schools were used as polling stations on September 1st. In a statement today, the Ministry of Education extended best wishes to teachers, students, and parents for a successful Christmas term. Special recognition was given to children starting nursery, primary, and secondary school for the first time. The ministry also reaffirmed its commitment to ensuring a smooth and productive year for everyone in the education system. And that's all for this edition of Ignite News Highlights. For more stories, visit ignitenews.com or follow us on social media. Thanks for watching. I'm Rihanna Nikram. See you next time for more Ignite News.